Dr. Eggman has been a part of the Sonic series since the time of Sonic Hedgehog 1. In fact, Sonic and Eggman together are the oldest characters in the franchise, and Eggman's role has always been that of a villain, an antagonist, someone to get in the way of the blue blur, and this has naturally resulted in him being the final hurdle, the last challenge, on numerous occasions. However, the question for today's video is, should that be the same for Sonic Frontiers? Dr. Eggman may be predominantly the final threat, but this has not always been true. A series of games have featured a different villain to be the last encounter. Sometimes they are still aligned with Eggman, other times they are also against him. This had led to some people preferring an Eggman focused finale and other people liking a bit of variety. Sonic Frontiers is presenting us with a new threat, a strange AI menace in a digital world, and they are very much the players against Sonic from as far as we can tell at this moment in time. Their minions scatter the landscape, and the avatar of their intelligence, or something like it, with Sage, is a story relevant character. However, we also know that Dr. Eggman is very much important to the events of Sonic Frontiers. He's the catalyst that causes the cyber world to become what it is, and his equipment can be found scattered across the land. Plus, we've already heard that he's present in cutscenes at the very least. His role, though, is still up for consideration. It's unclear if he would be neutral, perhaps even allied with Sonic to escape, or if he will be ultimately the final villain pulling the strings all along. But that possibility right there is what really caused me to make this video in the first place. Would Eggman being the secret, or not so secret, final boss be good for Frontiers' story, or would it perhaps be detrimental and self-sabotaging? For a while during the mid-2000s, Dr. Eggman had found himself being the side villain, where a new threat would instead overcome him during the course of the game and be the last fight, sometimes even defeating Eggman along their way. With Sonic Colors, this began to change, where Eggman was the villain through the beginning all the way to the end. And after that we had Sonic Generations, where it was suggested a strange force was the new villain, but it was then revealed that it was in fact Eggman all along. None of those examples were anything offensive or harmless, and in fact they were quite wanted by numerous people who had grown fed up of Eggman not being the final villain, since before the 2000s he almost always was. However, after that point, we then got Sonic Lost World, that made a big deal of bigging up the Deadly Six, giving them all introductions, they're all over the marketing, they're supposed to be the final fight. Or at least that's what you think, until right at the very end, they pull a surprise and Eggman is the last boss. This rug pull could have been played effectively, but the problem is the Deadly Six all felt underdeveloped and just thrown in, and when you have that just to then pull the rug from under their feet and say it was Eggman again all along, it really harms the perception and reputation of these new villains you were trying to establish. And then with Sonic Forces, we see this to an even greater extent, where Eggman has won and he's the villain, but he's got a strange, mysterious associate with grand powers. And although it's very much an Eggman-focused story, Infinite has a burning rivalry for Sonic and has caused a lot of atrocities to give Sonic a reason to in turn dislike Infinite. And it all leads to this great conclusion that you're expecting to see, until Infinite is brushed away by the plot and just vanished away into the Phantom Ruby, where Eggman gives him a single dismissive line and establishes himself as the true final fight, using the Phantom Ruby that until that point had basically just been associated with Infinite himself. This also harmed Infinite's character, and it feels like the plot sort of forced itself to end in a way where Eggman was somehow involved with the Phantom Ruby directly in a final fight. And Infinite's character, as a result, kind of just feels like wasted potential, in more ways than one, but for the purpose of this video, just due to the way he was concluded with. So then we have Sonic Frontiers on the horizon, and we've got new elements, new characters, and Eggman's presence. If he were to secretly be the one in control the whole time, then that would start to get annoying, for me anyway. We've seen Eggman rug pull the last two villains now. To do it a third time in a row would just be poor. I would hope they would at least give it a creative reasoning, but it's not what I would want to see. On the other hand, if we allow Sage or the AI or whatever it is to actually remain a threat through and through, we can give them more development, more legitimacy, and they can challenge Sonic in different ways to the way Eggman does. Even more so if Eggman takes a neutral or even an allied position to Sonic, which we don't see all too often and leads to very interesting character interactions. What do you think on the subject though? There are many ways they could handle it, and none of them are necessarily better than the other. If you have any ideas, please do let me know in the comments down below. And thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. It really does help out the channel. Please let me know what you enjoyed or disliked from this video so I can incorporate it into my next. I hope you have a great day, and to see you next time. This is the Mighty Emperor, signing off.